Okay, I can't give you everything. Well, I'll do my best in a short period of time. So, one of the things that got me into it was, taking long drives. I was actually not long drive. I was actually taking a metro. So going to work, in the DC region, you take a lot of metro, and then you just get tired of hearing the noise. So I started listening to podcasts. The first podcast I actually listened to was Jamila Safran, which is Journey to Launch podcast. She's doing amazing. It's my first time actually meeting her last year, so it was actually pretty cool to see her in person. And then I listened to Earn Your Leisure. Guys, shout out to them.
Oh
Because
yeah,
that's how I got started. And I listened to them when they first started. So, like, their very first 20 episodes in, that's what kind of gave me the courage to say, you know what, I can do this. Because they talked about how they started at their living room coffee table, really, and just with their cell phone. And then that's how I started, was actually in the living room on a coffee table. And since then, I would just say, like, put out a couple episodes. I think I put out 3 episodes, and then ask somebody like, hey, what do you think about this? And they was like, yeah, can you give us a little bit of this, kind of tell people exactly why you actually recording this and stuff like that. So I kind of grew as time went on, and just kind of piggybacked off of other podcasters that I actually do enjoy listening to. And so my podcast is just a hodgepodge of so many other podcasts that I've listened to, so that I can create my own product.
oh wow, that is interesting, and I'm glad you hit on that point about just a coffee table and a recorder or something like that, because a lot of us, yours truly included, I used to think that starting a podcast, I had to get all these crazy equipment. What scared me the most, and for any of you out there that you, if you're afraid of, starting a podcast, did you hear what he just said? You don't need a whole lot of technical tools. One of my biggest fear was the mic, because I'm like, oh my god, I have to have one of those sexy looking fancy
Oh,
one of those that you have. I'm like,
yeah, this is not cheap. This is not cheap at all. This is, I think, of $400 now at this point.
oh my goodness, you see what I'm talking about? And then that, it's not just the price only. It's like, okay, how do you know which is the best one for
Yep.
you, and which one is going to work the way it's supposed to work, and all the other technical equipments if you want to, like, maybe broadcast to multiple streams at the same time. How does it all work? I was driving myself crazy.
Yeah.
So please, like, take away some of the myths and the fears from some of us that are like new to this and really want to jump in. So we can just start with a cell phone and a
Hmm.
table. We don't need a fancy mic. But let's say we want to take it up a notch. Like, how do we go from there? What do we pick?
I would say the next step, you gotta love. Well, I would say take a step back, because recording it is the easy part, just hitting the record button. Also, that's the most important thing you need to do, is hit that record button, because so many episodes I recorded without hitting that record button. And I was like,
No.
man, I'm doing all this great work and then nothing. So, uh,
Oh my
yes.
God.
But because of technology, the podcasting technology is always changing. I want to talk to you about the things that actually stay consistent over the years that I've been doing this. The first thing is that you want to make sure that you are finding something that you don't mind talking about day in and day out. For me,
Mhm.
it's talking about finances. Like, I could talk about finances day in and day out, how to use it, how to get it, and how to spend it. Like, that is those are the main three things when it comes to finance. I could talk about that all day. But you have to also think about it. Who else is in that industry that's talking about it currently right now? And can you add a little bit of value to your story? What are the things that you have experienced about that particular topic? So you got your two things down, your topics, right? The third thing you need to figure out is the consistency. How often are you actually going to promote or push out these episodes? Because it takes time away from your everyday life. You're dedicating your time to this, especially if you're doing a 9 to 5, and then you got to promote it. How much energy are you actually putting in to promote it? Also helps out determine on if whatever you consider successful to you. For
Mhm.
me, success, as long as I'm able to reach one ear and able to change one life, that's success to
Mhm.
me. More
Yes.
so than the money and stuff like that. The money will come, but for me, this is actually what I'm here for, is to actually help support other people to be
Mhm.
successful with their finances. So that's my goal. But you got to determine on what the success look like for you, because you'll be very disappointed. This is not a fun. Well, it's fun, but it's not all the glim and glam that's out there. Because right now I'm doing everything myself. So there's also a way to do it with a team, and that also costs money as well. So just want to give you guys that part. Another part of it, let's see, we talked about that consistency, talk about your topic, but also you got to talk about your release date. You need to learn when your release dates are. Are you going to be releasing it 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night? Know when your audience is actually online, because you actually get those metrics and stuff like that. Or you can actually cheat, go to Edison. Edison does all the research for podcasting. So you
Oh,
can
wait,
check
wait,
them
hold
out.
up. That's Edison. And what is
Correct.
that, like an app or something?
No, Edison is a research company, and it's called
Oh,
Edison Research actually. In edisonresearch.com, they have all the metrics usually from all the podcast stuff. So every time there's a podcast event, when I was at Podcast Movement Evolutions and I actually spoke at that event, Edison Research Company was actually there talking about the future of podcasting and where it's been. And there has been an uptick in Black or Brown or BPOC podcasters coming out, that there are actually there's so much room out there. A lot of people don't even know what a podcast is or even heard of it. So there's still so much room out there to actually be heard. So there's so many different vast topics that are people are out there. Find your niche, and it will find you. One of the things I would say, one person I bumped into is talk about genetics. All she does is talk about that. I didn't even know that was a huge community, but
wow.
she found that niche, so niche down on genetics, modifications, how it actually impact people, and that's all she does, to the point where I think she's the only one that's doing it really. Well, it's not too many. I would say not too many people in that
Hmm.
particular niche. So find something that you're excited about and just hone in. Even if you think your friends or family aren't excited about it, there is somebody else. A stranger will support you more than anything. So
That is so true. And like you was saying earlier, as long as you can help someone out there, someone needs that message, that information, that knowledge. So that is incredible. So just getting a little technical, which I don't usually do. And like, what mics would you recommend for people to start with? And besides the microphone, what kind of equipment would people need to like do the recording itself? Like, is that just a computer? Because for me, how I do it is straight up simple, straight from YouTube, just like I'm doing a live right now. I just
mhm.
put podcast into hashtag somewhere, and that's it. But for those that want to get deeper and go more, maybe one day I will. But how does that all work?
Yeah. When it comes to working, it really depends on your budget. So first off, start small. Graduated, slowly graduated with this a regular headset and using my laptop from my cell phone microphone, and then I try to use Bluetooth, and that wasn't working out too well. The audio
Um,
wasn't that great. Then I just upgraded to my laptop, used a USB headset, which will work fine. And if you're looking for that quality that you're looking for, you got to make sure that you're in a room. Most people, or some people still to till this day, actually go inside their closet to record, because that will eliminate a lot of the noise that you're getting when you come to that audio. Because audio is very key to most podcasters. Because think about it, you're actually in somebody's ear that
yeah.
whole time. And if you're in somebody's ear, you want to hear all the raspiness and the open airness and stuff like that. So, but there are tools out there. That's the reason why I keep saying, like, the podcast arena is actually getting a lot better. So Adobe, I think it's called Adobe Audio, actually has a tool to kind of actually not auto tune, but auto correct your audio to give you more of a richer sound, to remove the background, and they do all of that for free.
Oh wow. Is that
Yeah.
like AI, like
Hmm.
manipulating your own voice? So you mean
Yes.
I can
So,
sound better than I do? I don't have to listen to my own raspy voice. I can sound really cool.
hmm
Oh my God, that's
so
like cheating, but hey, if it works.
yeah, I think it's Adobe Express. Because they had it on the Adobe Express, but I took an Adobe Express podcast. Oh, they actually changed it now.
Are you
Like I
using
said,
that right now?
I use that only when I'm not using my home setup. If I'm out and about and I'm doing
Okay.
recording, I will use it's called podcast.adobe.com. Will actually have all of that information there.
Okay. See, ladies and gentlemen, I had to ask that. So just so you know, this is confirmation. He sounds this good. He doesn't need all that AI stuff. I'm telling you. And just for those of us that have that raspy voice or we feel like we don't sound too good or whatever, you don't need a sexy voice. You don't need a soothing voice. You don't need a certain type of voice. Just be yourself, get out there, deliver your message. Somebody's going to vibe with it. Somebody's not going to like it. And that's okay. You got to be ready for that. When you put yourself out there on this platform, some people will like you, some people will not like you. But guess what? That's not your concern. Your concern is delivering your message. So, sexy voice, not a requirement.
Yeah, when it comes to my voice, even I was because I figured like because I have a gap, that's one of the reasons why I did not even want to do video recording. But
Really?
then I realized, yeah. So if you ever look at my original YouTube videos, you'll just get straight audiograms, and that's all you're gonna see because it's one of the things I was too afraid to actually be on video. And so all I did was start turning on the camera and just get rid of the nerves and just do it because
Yes.
that's it's a lot of things. You can sit up here and talk about all the things, I need to get this or I need to get that. You just really need to do it. Do it about
Yeah.
10 times and get better every time you do it. You can listen to me or listen to this episode here. You can even listen to Mr. Beast. I know he's going through some controversial stuff right now, but he also said that all he does is make sure that the next video is better than his prior video. And that's one of the things that you want to just keep looking at and just stay ahead as far as you can. But again, like you said, Charlene, just say something. People here listen to you because I could say the same thing that you're about to say, but your audience will listen to you more so than me because they hear for you, they know you, and it's like family. It's like somebody else's familiar voice talking to them,
Yeah.
and it's so you need to find your own audience and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And when you do this kind of stuff, it kind of helps you to find your tribe. Let's say you feel like you're weird or you're one of those people that talk about stuff that nobody else talk about or just a few people. And you find that tribe is beneficial for them and it's beneficial for you. I'm telling you, it's kind of like therapy. You get to relax, chill, be your funny, crazy self or your weird self or whatever you might want to label that as. But it's a beautiful experience. So get out there, let the world hear your voice. Again, you don't need any fancy equipment, but once you get rolling, you can upgrade, like he said, start with what you got. Because if you keep thinking about all that you don't have, you will never get started. You'll get out of the race before you even started. So don't take yourself out. Okay. So
Yeah,
we talked about equipment, and that falls into my next question. I don't really have questions. I just have some bullets here.
that's cool.
You don't need to be a tech genius, right?
No, I mean, Charlene, we always laugh on the back end about your technology, but we get it. What's going on, JT Rings? What's going on?
Oh
Uh,
God.
yeah. So, um, oh, you guys, if you ever familiar, like far as JT Rings, I'll say it. Highly shout out to him because he's actually doing some amazing work with actual coins and turning those into rings that you can actually wear. Some great
Oh wow.
quality work. So keep up the good work, sir. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, JT. I love
yeah.
jewelry. You and I could be best friends.
Mm. Can you say the question one more time? I'm gonna make sure I get it right.
Yeah, no distractions allowed. No. We were just kind of tying in about the tech genius stuff, and we were laughing at me being a tech G,
Yeah.
tech C. Now let's talk. I'm gonna finish up with the mindset part of it, but let's talk a little bit about like the topics. You kind of hinted on that a little bit.
hmm
So, what's your suggestion? Are you saying that Edison would give you like some of the best topics that people are looking for right now with podcasting?
No, they actually run the metrics on podcasts. How many are out there? How
Mm-hmm.
many the frequency that people actually listen to podcasts. So you think about all the behind the scenes stuff. What are the demographics of your listeners? Are they um the how much money are they making? Think about the Nielsen, the Nielsen company, the Nielsen family. They actually monitor what people watch on TV.
Mm.
So think about them, but for podcasting. So they actually look into, the length of episodes. Which ones are the popular ones? Which ones usually fall off? How many episodes are done on an average podcast? These are the things that they actually cover. And to let you guys know, I would say 90% or maybe 85% of the podcasts actually don't go beyond 5 episodes. So if you really want to go beyond 5 episodes, you want to just go ahead on and record it. Record 10 just to kind of get you started. However, I recommend to record about 3 or 4 ahead of time just to make sure that you providing quality information. And because you're going to learn something new, you want to make sure that you are able to um, provide quality and up to date information of that particular topic that you're about to record. So, and plus, you learn new things. So, if you want to learn how a new technology that's out there that can help you out with your editing, you can actually utilize that. So, I just want to make sure I share that. And what's going on, K Plus Gaming?
All right. Sorry about that. I know you saw me talking, but you couldn't hear. My son was in the background asking me
Oh no, you
questions.
good.
I kid you not. Listen, y'all, I live my life and I do my mommy duties as I come on here. I don't shut my children down. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Now, as far as consistency, right? Like for instance, I have this Tuesday night vibration that I do every Tuesday, 8:15 or 8 p.m. Like how important is that? Like for instance, one of my podcasts is like the intuitive healing podcast, which means I come on intuitively. So I don't have like a set schedule. Is that like a terrible thing to do, or is it based on
Yes,
the expectations that your audience have?
I would say think about it as dating. And you're out there dating and you be like, okay, hey, he normally shows up at 5 o'clock. You okay? So I'll make sure I'll be here at 5 o'clock all ready for him. But then he shows up at 7. And you be like, I thought
Hmm.
you were supposed to be here at 5 o'clock. All I got is 5 o'clock. So think about it that way when you actually posting out your episodes. You want to stay consistent with the audience. Like for me, I release my episodes at 2 between 2 to 2:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Uh
wow.
every Tuesday. And then for my live shows, because I do a live recordings at 8 p.m. on Thursday. So I want to make sure that my audience is here at 8 p.m. Thursday. They know when I'm coming on. And then I'll release these live episodes and send those up to the platform that I'm using now, which is the Alive Podcast Network at 2 a.m. so they can blast it out to all the different people. So I try to make sure that my audio is ready for everybody at 2 o'clock in the morning. And if I'm doing pre recorded YouTube videos, I make sure those videos are actually posted around 12 o'clock or like 11:45 every Tuesday as well. And I got to give a shout out to my mom. She's on. Sorry for
Hey,
all the noise.
mommy. That's
And then I got,
okay. Listen,
yeah,
we always got to give mom
right.
a shout out. They're the
Yeah.
best. And I know she's been there when I was on your side. So welcome
Mhm.
in, mommy. Thank you so much for your love and
And,
support and for making such an amazing, beautiful human being. Honor
oh,
you.
thanks. And I
Now,
gotta say hi to Ruthie as well. Ruthie,
hi,
thanks for coming in.
Ruthie. Welcome
Yeah,
in. Welcome, fam. Thank you all for coming.
yeah.
So, K Plus, I see you, my brother. Thanks for always being in our corner, giving love and support. You are the diggity diggity bomb. Um,
Ooh, so
now,
Mr. Builder had a good question though.
oh, there's a question.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. And thank you for
Um.
noticing.
Wow. Yeah. So when it comes to the best platform, platforms are. It depends on the audience. Now, your audience might say that they want to be on Apple. So depending on if you look at the demographics on how many people actually listen to podcasts, majority of them are on Apple. Um, the next platform that most people listen to is on Spotify, which is a far second place. And then you'll get Stitcher and all the other smaller platforms after that point. So when you're looking at what platform you want to be or advertising on, you want to think about your demographics and who out there is doing it. I personally am going to be start switching on to utilizing my website more to let people know like, hey, you can look at my website to actually listen to the podcast on different platforms. And one of the ways to do that is just post a blog for every episode. That is a one way to help out with your SEO search, help out people find you, and also for other resources as well.
All
And plus,
right.
you can
So I'm
provide
gonna,
backlinks as well.
yeah, because you kind of just like got my mind running around here when you say a blog, then the podcast. So before you put out your podcast, you send out a blog, and now a blog is just like a written thing that you put online, correct?
Vice versa. So you already recorded the episode.
Mm-hmm.
The blog will actually host your transcript plus a description of the show. So you already do the description because you already
Oh,
got the YouTube video. Then you just take the transcript, throw that up on your blog because the blog
oh,
will be searchable, meaning the transcript will be searchable through Google. So and then you get the backlinks to your guests who are on the show. So it actually helps both of you guys out to be more credible source of information.
okay. Now that makes sense because when you said blog, I'm thinking, oh my God, all this work and typing and stuff. I'm not a
Oh,
secretary. So,
it's a lot of
like,
copy and
thank you for
paste.
breaking that down because that
Mhm.
terrified me. Like, wait a minute. Okay, thank you for breaking that down. Okay, so now I kind of have a backup question based on this whole platform thing. Now with
Mhm.
Spotify, like how does that work? Because like for me, I'm on YouTube, only YouTube, because I don't even know how to get on to the other thing. Like, do you pay for a spot on Spotify? Do you have to have an iPhone to get on iPhone, or I'm sorry, the
Mm-mm.
Apple thing? See, I'm even confused in it.
Yeah.
Do you understand
So
my question? There might be
yeah,
a little bit.
no, I got you.
Okay.
Apple, you can actually upload to Apple manually if you want to. You actually just got to type in. I think it's podcast Apple. I think it's just
Okay.
Apple Podcasts or
Okay.
podcasters for Apple, and you can actually manually upload your episodes that way. Hopefully, you are actually doing your podcast on YouTube Music because YouTube Music does have a podcast feature. So you just got to make sure when you do these videos, just make sure you go back and look at them and just say, "Hey, create podcasts." It's as since you own your own
Oh.
show, so you can actually have all of these added to your own podcast on YouTube Music. So
Oh.
right. But if you're on different platforms, the platform that I started off with is Anchor. So Anchor is now podcasters for Spotify. So if and it's all free. So they host everything there for free. Now the beauty of doing it on Spotify is that Spotify is one of the, like I said, the second biggest podcast platform that's out there. And since they hosting it on there, you have access to their full music library, which means that all the music that's streaming on there, you can actually add those to your full episodes
Oh,
if
that
you
will
want
make it
to.
so dope.
Right. And then because you're doing it there, you actually, everybody that's on Spotify will actually listen to your episode first. They actually release it on their episode on their platform first before they even disperse it to anybody else. So you have that option as well. So I actually run two RSS feeds. So my live shows are on a different feed. My pre-recorded ones are on another feed. Ruthie's been on my show before, so uh, we there. And also you've been on my show too. So you're actually on my live show feed. When
Okay.
Ruthie is actually on my pre-recorded feed. So I have two RSS feeds that I'm managing. However, like I said, it took me time. I had to get my systems right in order for me to actually free up myself to understand what I'm doing. So it does
Okay.
take time.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for free option, I would say podcasters for Spotify to start off for free. And then you can graduate to other platforms like Blueberry. You have Buzzsprout. You have Libsyn. Who's the other big one? Because Libsyn is the oldest one that's been out there.
Ooh.
Buzzsprout, I gotta give a shout out to them because they actually help sponsoring the podcast movement that I'll be speaking at
Right on.
next month, actually on the 19th through the 22nd. So I'll be speaking there. But the thing about it is like there's so many free options. Well, I won't say there's too many free. There's very few free options, but there are actually some really good paid ones, and I can tell you the benefit between the two because this is why hosting platforms are important.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure that your host platform, the one that you're paying for, will actually provide you all the information that is necessary. So I know I'm going a little bit behind the scenes. I mean, if you want me to go all
No,
detailed
no,
in,
no. We're going
oh,
all in, baby. Like I said, if we
okay,
need to do a part two, we'll do a part two because I'm
okay,
learning so much here, and I'm sure behind the scenes, like when I reach out to you on Instagram, like, listen, can you break
right,
this down a little more? Because I may not always get everything, especially when it
hmm,
comes to the technical aspect. Like I'm
right,
writing down RSS. I'm like, what does RSS mean? It's like, oh my god, this is like amazing stuff. Coach
yeah,
Sherry, welcome in, Sissy. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you.
yeah. So for quick reference, RSS is just like a web feed. You can actually get RSS for emails and stuff like that. I'm trying to
Mm.
remember what it stands for.
Okay. Because I was actually thinking about RSIs, that investing thing. I'm like,
Oh,
wait a minute. Okay. All right. So we got a question in the chat. Let's honor that. What do you think about YouTube podcast platform for podcasts? And before you answer that, please, if you don't mind, could you go? Because when I created my podcast on my other channel, what I did, YouTube required me to make like a square thumbnail first to make that the
hmm,
podcast section,
yep.
and then I just throw the episodes in there. So you're
Hmm.
saying that's not enough. I have to go back to the episode and click on it and add what?
Oh, it should already be there actually. Because I'm if you actually have YouTube Music, because I'm gonna look it right now.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm on YouTube Music on my phone. So as you guys see, so
mm-hmm. Let
uh
me give you a solo so you can get in there.
oh,
Everybody can
so
see what.
what's the name of your show that you have it saved as?
Well, I have the Sip and Shot podcast, and I also have the Intuitive Healing podcast. So it's like two podcasts under the same. What do you call it? Playlist.
Okay. I'm looking it up on podcasts and I don't see sip and chat. It's like so many different things on here. All right. Well, this is a bad example because I know my. So if you guys have YouTube Music on your phones right now, you can try this with me. So if you go up here, type in, let's see, about that wallet. It can be spaced out or all one. It doesn't matter. Sorry, my note. My eye is running.
Ruthie, if I could
But
do this
okay.
thing, and I'm sure I'm not as tech savvy as you, I'm
Oh.
sure you can do it. Don't let that hold you back, honey. Just get on here and do your
Right.
thing.
Right. So when you do podcasts and like my logo is the first one that comes up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll hit that and then it'll just tell you if you want to save the library or not. And then it will just show all of your episodes right then and there. But it's actually feeding off an RSS feed that I imported. So every time I upload on my Spotify account, it automatically will read the RSS feed. So it's a lot easier to do it that way so that you can have it. You can, once you get your RSS feed, you can just feed all these other platforms your RSS feed, and that will help you actually market yourself even further. So there's so many other sites out there like RSS repositories that I highly recommend to check out. One of them I am in is called Haiti, HAYTI, and that one is I guess I'd say is based in Africa. And one of the things, the cool things about them, um, is that they are actually helping out with black owned news and podcast apps. So that's pretty much what it is. And it helps out just to kind of amplify the black and brown communities and their voices inside the African continent. So that's one thing I really love about them. And then I looked at other places and stuff like that. So, but to go back to the original question, what do I think about YouTube's podcast platform for podcasts? I say it's great from an analytic standpoint. If you want to know like where your customers are coming, where your listeners are coming from, where they're going, what other content that they love to watch, and what are they listening to find your content. That is amazing thing because right now, no other platform can tell you, hey, how did they actually find your particular episode? It doesn't
Oh,
say that, oh, we found it from, I don't know, some website. Thing like, say, if you were on my website and they found your episode, they don't tell you that information. They just say, like, hey, you got one download from this regional place. And that's kind of it. So if you want more granular detail, I'll say YouTube Music can provide that information for you.
oh wow. So I feel like we're spoiled over here on YouTube because I thought, they were all the same. You always get all these analytics that you might not even understand because some of them I don't understand. No surprise. But I just want to kind of come back a little bit because you said something and I feel like I kind of missed it. And welcome in, by the way, Lisa and Twin
Yeah, Lisa.
Brothers. Nice to see you all, my darlings. So you're saying once you're done with your podcast on YouTube, right? This is just YouTube podcasting. You have to go to your studio and then click on something to make it go to the library, or is that connected to the RSS thing and I kind of missed something in between there?
Okay. Yeah, there's
Be
two
patient
different
with me, my
things.
brother.
It's okay. So the first thing is that when it comes to your actual episode, so if you do a pre-recorded episode and you already have an RSS feed and you're already feeding that into YouTube Music, you don't have to do go back and make sure it's selected into that. Because we're doing a live show like this,
Hmm.
you will have to manually go back in the YouTube studio, make sure you check the button to make sure it goes over to the live show so that it actually be hosted up on your particular podcast inside of YouTube.
Oh, okay. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because I had no idea. I thought just putting it straight from like, on YouTube, you just add it to your podcast list that makes it a podcast. I didn't know it had to,
Oh yeah,
you know.
you're doing it already. It's just that you because you're already doing it. Like what you said is actually what you're doing is adding it
Oh, okay.
to the platform. So but once you hit the checkbox, like hey, where do you want this video to be? Is
Oh,
there?
okay. So once I put it in that playlist that's under the podcast with the square thumbnails,
Yep.
that's it. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, why am I complicating it?
Yes, you already got it. You got this. You got it.
Oh my God. All right. So let's take a commercial break real quick. For those of you that have questions in the chat, we are not going to answer any more questions. Sorry, y'all. I'm kidding. I'm
What? Oh,
kidding.
okay.
Get your questions ready. We're here for it. We're going to try to learn and grow in this community. That's what we're all about. So let's see. Maybe something relaxing or maybe something a little bit uppity. I don't know. What do you guys
Let's
feel like? What do you feel like, Anthony?
let's go relaxing. I like relaxing.
All right, here is this one. Are you feeling tired, stressed out, overwhelmed, and maybe even anxious? Then join me on my 3 days breathing and wellness retreat, where we come and we relearn how to breathe correctly, how to breathe to reduce stress, lower high blood pressure, replenish our cells. We learn self-care the natural way, and so much more. Check the description for more information and how you can join me on the upcoming 3 days breathing and wellness retreat. Are you feeling tired, stressed out, overwhelmed, and Alrighty. Look at that. She got a tech glitch. Okay, so great. Where were we? And for those of you that would love to join that, I'm not charging anything for it. You just have to give a financial donation, and we'll do that 3 days healing retreat. You have to email me to reserve a spot. I just want to keep it small and intimate. So let's keep it going because Anthony is a busy man and he has to be out of here before 9 p.m. Okay. Okay. So, Coach Sherry, you're doing a podcast already on YouTube right now. Okay. That's
Oh,
awesome.
perfect. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. I
Oh,
don't think
does
I'm ready. Oh, I read
does
that already.
Coach
Sorry.
Cherry actually want to go to like a different platform, or is she just going to stay on YouTube?
Are you looking to branch out, Coach Sarah? Or you just want to stay on YouTube? How many folks are on Apple versus Spotify? Because
Those
you said Apple is
numbers,
number one, right? And Spotify is number
yes,
two.
yeah. So I'm actually on. Well, it's cheating. I'm actually on Apple's podcast, like out right now. So let
Okay.
me double check that. But in the meantime, I know it's like a big difference.
Okay, while you look that up, shout out to my Facebook family. Hey, 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 thank you. We got people from Guyana listening in. Hey, Abigail, thank you so much for coming. We are
Okay,
speaking to the world.
yeah. So right now they showing interesting. The things that might have changed. So that's music wise. Uh, because I was like, that's interesting. Okay, this is from Statista. Means Statista. I don't make this names
That
up.
sounds like a tongue twister to me.
Right. As of 2022, they say Spotify is estimated to reach about 32.5 million podcast listeners per month, while Apple is preceded to only 28 million monthly listeners, which is interesting.
Hmm.
Um, because usually Apple is the big one, but it's cool to see that Spotify is taking over.
Okay. And I would imagine, I could be wrong, but I would imagine, okay, so even if, let's say, Apple is number one, Spotify is number two, each one of those platforms probably have their own like preferences. Like one might be better for if you have a financial ears, or one might be better if you're doing like healing stuff. So, maybe you want to kind of research to see, okay, most listeners on this are here for finances versus most listeners on this are here for healing. Does that make sense or it doesn't work like that?
It probably don't work like that because it depends on the
Okay.
audience. Like you can't like hey your audience, can lose out on your audience just by
Um,
splitting it up that way. Be like, hey, you can only get healing if you listen to Apple, but not
um,
everybody. And I believe you can get Apple Podcasts on an Android device. I believe they recently created an app.
oh, wow, that's cool.
Um, but I know I can get Apple Music onto an Android device. I haven't tried Apple Podcasts though, so don't hold me to that.
No
Some of you
worries.
guys, if you guys have it, I mean, please let me know. uh,
Okay.
let me, yeah, because I'm actually looking it up right now if I can get it. Okay, they just have a basic podcast player on Android. So if you just have Android, you can just get Spotify. It's fine. I'm on both things, but also there's so many out there. So many different platforms. And like I
Okay.
said, if you want to get one of these, if you pay for any of these hosting platforms, they will disperse you out to 20 different I guess you could say accounts. If Can I share my screen? I can show you exactly.
Sure. I don't
So,
know how. Do I need to do something
oh,
here?
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Okay.
I got you.
I
So
love this man.
I
He's
like
so
to show it to.
techy.
Gosh.
I feel safe in your technical arms. Like, okay, I don't need to do anything. He got it.
Because I want to show this because a lot of people need to know, especially if you get into the podcast realm. You want to make sure that you are dealing with. You just have to bring it up to the.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I see it now. Got it.
Okay. So for those of you who are new to podcasting and everything like that, I highly recommend Pod News. Podnews.net. They have all the cool latest stuff, events that's happening, articles, directories, and everything like that. So I signed up for that email list. So if you want to get some of that information, that's cool. One of the things that I do this all the time to check out my podcast. So and check out where I'm at. So I type in about that wallet and I look at where I'm at. So I got both platforms here, but they look at the main one. And so far, I got 20 ratings, 5 stars. So you can actually research this on your own for every podcast that's out there. And when you put out your RSS feed, it will display it on all of these different platforms. Okay. Good Pods is actually really popular. They trying to push themselves out. They heavily active on X. Obviously, everybody know about Apple Podcasts. And these are some other podcast players. Now, keep in mind, these are just a few of them that are being shown right here. You can actually look at so many others, and it will tell you more information that you really need to know. So you can look at your episode, see what this is. I don't even know what the GUID is. Um, and then also it'll tell you like how to like, hey, your episode is not on these different platforms, or you need to actually start adding these platforms. And they'll actually have all of this stuff here. So I'm gonna do a rapid fire of resources that you need to know when you're getting your podcast done. I don't think too many people even talk about this stuff. So I'm just trying to give you guys everything that I use and utilize. The next site that you want to get used to is called Listen Note. Listen Note, I'm going to share the tab in just a moment.
That's LISTENNOTES. Okay, there it
Yep.
is. Okay.
Yep. So Listen Notes. You can actually go here when you actually put out your podcast. And I'm just showing mine because I know I always look at mine and keep it off. So doing that for now. And you can actually claim your episodes, like claim your podcast. Right now,
Okay.
they show rankings. You can actually have this embedded on your website to show you where you at, and these numbers are live based on the information that they have, and they do a lot of searching worldwide. So if you listen to a new podcast and stuff like that, they already have all my stuff here, what my topics are about, my frequency. They show weekly, how long my episodes are, do I have sponsors or not, are my episodic or not, and stuff like that. So you can actually listen to the episodes here. The reason why I like this because um, I use her as an example. Money Talk with Tiff. She does amazing job with her SEO work, and that's the reason why. Like this is another person that I copy off of. As you see, she's like top 3% episodic. Hers is very short compared to mine, 22 minutes weekly, like how many episodes she has already. So this information is something that you need to be aware of. Okay, let's see, where do you get your biggest audience? I get my biggest audience mostly from word of mouth. When I talk to people, and actually share my story and reason why I'm actually doing my podcast, this kind of is where I get my audience, but then they share it with other people. And also because I'm actually showing my face and going on YouTube, going to these different conferences, being around people that actually listen to podcasts, they actually are coming around to check it out. How do you earn money on your podcast? That is a big question. Any means necessary. That's what I can say. Um, because for me, even when I'm speaking at these different conferences, they might give me a referral code. I can put those referral codes out. The companies will actually give me a fee based on how many people actually signed up from that referral code. Secondly, I get paid from merch. So you're looking at the products that I sell on my website. So if you go to aboutthatwallet.com/shop, so with the merch here, like people will buy the mugs or the hoodies or the shirts. I even have a budget calendar here. So by any means necessary when it comes to money. You can even market it to local businesses. Actually, if you go to NEH.gov, they will actually fund your whole project. So if you actually looking to get a grant to start a business, I mean to start a podcast, even they will pay you up to $1 million just to do your podcast. So if you're brand new and doesn't have anything, you can actually go here and just type in podcasts. I was actually on this website Wednesday, which is yesterday. And I'm gonna just show you here live right here. Looking at like a digital product. And right now they saying like $5,000 per month maximum award for that one. If you go to media projects, this one is due soon. This is the one I was looking at. You looking at, let me zoom in so y'all can see that right there. Grant. They looking at $75,000 just for the development, 700,000 for the production, and $1 million for special awards. Okay, so you can actually get paid just to create a podcast from scratch. Put that all in there, and they will pretty much put in your salary. Say like, "Hey, I actually need to make this much to produce a podcast that you guys want." However, it's a tedious process,
Mm.
but you can actually get paid to by grants to actually produce um, a product for whatever projects that are out here. I'm gonna pull up. This is a development one. So y'all was saying like, oh well, development that seems simple. These are some examples. I'm pull this up right here. This is how much they were asking for. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit.
It was like a whole business plan.
It is, but think about
Wow.
it. The time that it takes you to do, if you have nothing to do for a whole weekend, and you're just
Yeah.
sitting around playing video games or watching the TV, you can actually be doing this right here and now. Like take 10 minutes to, fill out one part of the form, fill out the other part. All
Mm.
they asking for is $50,000 just to kind of get ready for the production to do a 90-minute documentary. Just 90 minutes for $50,000. What can you do for 90 minutes? You listening to this podcast for 60 minutes. Like, what's another 30 minutes? Well, I think this was the one I just clicked on. Yeah, yeah. All right, and I'm gonna show you one more because I think this is really cool. Um, oh, that's 70,000, 75,000, and these are the ones that actually got awarded. So I want you guys to think about this when you look at the full production. I want to find one that actually showed like that it was actually a production. Yeah, the production because you actually did the work, which means like they'll tell you how much they looking for. This one is another one, just looking for a 90-minute. And I don't think they show how much they were asking for. But a couple of them, like I mean, they won the stuff. So these are approved processes. You can go on these websites. The government is giving you money to actually do the things. So I just wanted to share that with you all. That when it comes to making money in the podcast realm, it opens up so many doors. For me, it opened up doors to actually doing speaking gigs, taking me across the U.S. and it provided me with people that have supported me through and through, and I can't thank them enough. And I was able to even meet Charlene. Come on, like give it up for her. Like all because of the podcast. Like you get free information. Like people will charge well over $2,000 to $3,000 for some of this information. So if you want to, oh, what's that? So if you want to get so if you want to go ahead on and start learning about like medical field and like you have somebody that's dying or on their deathbed or something like that, you want to start documenting that information and having those open discussions about it. I just want to say go ahead on and start a podcast about it. Start learning that process, start learning about what it is, and actually get that free information. If you have a podcast, people will love to talk about themselves. As you see here, I like talking about podcasting all day because this is what I do. But this is what it is.
Oh my goodness. And with that, welcome in Bud Files and welcome in Sweet Melissa. Thank you all for being here. Thank you,
Yes, thank
everyone.
you, thank you.
Yeah, so Anthony has to go. He's a busy man. So I'm gonna let him take the last question I believe I saw in the chat. For anyone that has questions after, you can put it in the stream, I'm sorry, in the comments below. And if we do a part two, we'll just incorporate those questions into part two, okay?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Anthony, thank you, man. It's a load of information. I gotta rewatch this and probably rewatch it again and then one more time yet again
Yeah,
to let it all sink in. And then I'm still gonna come back with questions.
it's okay.
Oh, oh my gosh. So help me look through the chat here. I know I saw, okay, was this it? Or did you answer this one?
Oh, if you is your budget calendar a tangible digital? Oh, I did not answer that question. It is a digital product. So what it is set up with a blank calendar because for me, I hate calendars that's already pre-filled because I never start my budget on time. I start my budget when I start it. So it kept it blank and it's good for another 7 years. So you can print out as many as you want to. It's only $5, so have at it. Let's see. What is the site name for listen notes? That is it. It's listen notes. I think it's listennotes.com. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I noticed. Listen notes. Yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's listennotes.com. Yep. That's what it is.
Oh,
Listennotes.com.
Sherry, we said one more questions. You're lucky. One more question. You're lucky. That's gonna be a charge.
Oh.
All right, everybody, man. Look, I'm so grateful for this brother for coming and sharing his knowledge with us and
Oh,
for doing it
yes.
with such swagger and joy. You just gave us a whole lot to digest. We're gonna have to have you back. We got to do a part two of this.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so definitely. And in case you guys were not aware, this is August 1st. We just beginning a new month, so new things, new blessings, new ideas. This is actually National Will Month. So I'm going to be bringing awareness as to the importance as to why you need to create a will, why you must have a will. So I'm starting that tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, sometime during the day, but the link is in the chat. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it out, because these things are important as we think about creating wealth and securing our family, protecting ourselves. We don't think about it because sometimes it's just not near and dear to our heart or the way we grew up. But I'm here to shed some light and to show you how to get it done without breaking the bank legally. All right, everybody. Anthony, is there anything you want to say before you close it out?
Yeah, so I just want to say I wish you all the best on your journey when it comes to starting a podcast. This make sure you continue to have fun with it, and I would love to see guys if you can make it. I know it's soon, but August 19th through the 22nd, come on down the podcast movement. It's going to be in DC. I'll be there talking about it. Actually talking about how to avoid burnout. So those of you who have put out there more than 100 episodes and you just kind of feeling that itch where you just want to stop, this is that conversation that I'll be talking to you about. And that's actually most of the talks that I talk about is to avoid burnout and so that you can continue on doing it and be successful in what you want to do. So I just want to leave you all with that. If you guys haven't already, go ahead on and like, follow, share, and come on over, download the episode of the About That Wallet, give it a couple listens, leave some comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you all soon.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. And guys, his information is in the About Me section. Make sure you give him a follow on YouTube. He's also on Instagram, but follow him on YouTube. I'm trying to get him to 500. I want this man to start getting coins with his ads and everything in YouTube. So let's get him there. Anthony, thank you so much, my brother. Abundant blessings be upon you. Thank you for your time. We'll definitely have to have you back.
Yes,
Appreciate
yes,
this.
yes. All right, and I'm
Take
about to
care,
go
everybody.
live. I'm about to go live again. So I mean, I'll be here
Oh,
for
okay.
another hour.
Do you have it set up? If you
I
could
have
put it.
everything set up. I just gotta undo
Oh, I
this,
was
and
gonna
I'm
say you
going
could
right
share
back
it in the
live.
chat so we could come on over there.
Oh yeah, let me find that because it is set up, but I just didn't do
Yeah, let me see if I
a
could
cover.
find you. I'll share it in the chat. This is a great way for people to see what you do on your side right after
Yeah,
this. Where is Anthony about that wallet?
yeah, because I got Santiago. He's another podcaster in the DMV region,
Oh, you're
and
interviewing someone over there
I'm
tonight?
interviewing him. Yeah, my
Ooh.
channel live. Okay, I found it. Share,
Wait,
copy.
are you
I'm gonna give it to you on a private chat so you can share it out to everybody. That's the live link.
okay?
I wonder if I can post it to my audience. Yes. Okay. I shared it with my audience on my end. That's all I can share.
Okay, I got it. I found it. So I'm gonna
Cool.
share it now.
All right. So I'm gonna hang up here. Log back in. We're gonna get it. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. Once you have your systems in place, you guys make sure you have your system. You know what? We can do that as part two. I'll walk people through setting up their systems so that they can be successful. Because I think today we're just kind of getting the hot questions out the way, and then we can start being more strategic about how to actually get your podcast going so you can have long lasting success.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredibly awesome. And I wanted to cover mindset, but I know we don't have time to do it, so we'll cover that the next time as well. So you're the
Okay.
man. Thank
All
you,
right.
my
Cool.
brother.
You're
Peace,
welcome.
everybody. Make
See ya.
sure you go over there. I just put his link in the chat. Go over there now
All right. See
and
ya.
let's get on his live. Take care, y'all. Bye for now.
So we have about 4 levels of membership available. If you are in the vibration of wealth and wellness and prosperity for all, definitely check out our membership and all the perks that comes with it. For those of you that are entrepreneurs and you would love to be in our barter club where we sit and discuss strategies and how to build our business, we exchange our different talents and skills to help each other grow. We even collaborate and form businesses together. We also do think tanks to help each other to bring ideas to life. We help each other to become more wealthy and to share that prosperity. with our world. Together, we can create a better world as entrepreneurs and amazing people who believe in oneness and prosperity for all. So I invite you to join the membership, become a part of that club. And if you're not interested in the club and you just want to support the vibration and the energies of prosperity and wellness, definitely join our membership. And thank you so much. Abundant blessings.